Hey Crafty Peeps, I'm Lisa, your dollar mom, and today I have 4 Christmas DIYs for you. They're neutral, rustic, farmhouse, and I'm really excited to show them to you. So let's just get right to them. This project is inspired by something I saw on the Kirkland's website. It is $34.99, but I make it much cheaper. Okay, I'm going to start by using elephant chalk paint from Waverly, and I'm just going to paint a piece of scrap wood. So then I'm going to take some chalk paint from Waverly in moss, and then I'm just going to dry brush it with my chippy brush over the top. Now in the inspired piece it was red, but I do not have red in my decor this year. I've gone with more neutral tones, greens, creams, that kind of thing. So I'm going to make this with a moss color, but of course you can make it with red. So like I said, in the inspiration piece, it was 8 inches by 24 inches, and this is much smaller. So, you know, obviously it's going to cost less, but I just was like, these little ski ornaments from Dollar Tree this year are really good. And so I'm going to use that on this. So again, just a piece of scrap wood. I started with elephant gray chalk paint, and now I'm just taking the moss chalk paint and dry brushing it on to give it that, rustic look like the inspiration piece. I just kind of keep adding it. I start light because I want to make sure I don't get too much paint on. I've done that so many times, so I'm just starting with the light. And then I'm going to go to my Cricut, and I'm just going to type out Happy Holidays with a snowflake, and I will cut that out. As you can see here, here's the ornament from Dollar Tree. Super cute. Can't believe they can sell this for $1. I'm thankful. And I'm sure a lot of you have heard that Dollar Tree is going to start moving it up to $1.25. So not a huge deal unless you buy 50 things at once like maybe I do. Okay, so here again, I'm going to take my vinyl cut here from my Cricut, and I will just rub it down on here. I will glue my little skis down, and I think this sign looks a lot like the inspiration piece. Again, just that it's green. Of course, the skis are a little different, but I basically made this for a little over $1 because, of course, it's scrap wood and there's some vinyl here. So let's call it the $2-3. And we duped a $34.99 Kirkland item. Again, of course, mine's a little bit of a smaller version. And then lastly, I just glued on some of the tumbling tower blocks from Dollar Tree to the back, and this just makes it so it can stand up on its own, which I like, so I can add to my decor. This video is in collaboration with 2 of my absolute favorite YouTubers, Wendy over at White Sparrow Living. Oh my goodness, her creative mind. It's amazing. I absolutely love Wendy. Not just her crafts, but she is also an amazing person. I hope that you will go check out her channel. I will link it below. And my next person in this collab is Linda over at FaithChick777. Again, and a super amazing, genuine person, but craft genius. I love her crafts. They're so unique. She uses sewing and paper and embellishments like I've never seen anyone use before. So again, I really hope that you will check out Wendy and Linda's channel. I will link them down below and let them know that Lisa sent you. This centerpiece from Joann's, you won't even believe how much I made this for. So obviously this is on sale for $60. Okay, first I start out with this palette sign I had in my stash that I didn't like. So I sanded it down, and then I cut two sides off so that I just have these 3 pieces left. There's still a little blue showing from the old paint, but it's not going to matter. If it did, I would just kind of paint over it, but we're good. So I had a little bit more sawdust down, so I just took my little ladybug vacuum and went over it just to get the extra dust off. Then I'm going to take this floral foam from Dollar Tree. This is a full pack. I love when they cut it down for me. And I will go ahead and hot glue it down to my palette board. Now, here's why this isn't going to cost me very much money. Because first I used a sign that I had bought and I didn't like, and I've had it for years and years, keep saying I'm going to do it over. Well, also, here's a stem from Michaels. It retails for $20. I can't even imagine buying a stem for $20. So I pulled it all apart and I took out all of the red. Okay, and so now I'm left with just the greenery. So here's the kicker. I got a Michaels grab bag. And if you're not familiar with those, I do have a video of me getting one recently, and I will post that here. But 2 years ago after Christmas, I got my very first Michaels grab bag. I didn't even know it was a thing, but it is, and you get a huge box or a bag for $5. Actually, I think when I got this one, it was only $4. I think they were $5 this year, but back in 2020, they were only $4. And I got the most massive amount of floral stems. I want to say there was like $600 or something worth of floral stems in my my $4 grab bag, okay? So these stems are from that. I understand you guys probably won't find this exact deal, but you're just going to grab greenery, okay? So you can grab greenery anywhere. So many craft stores have greenery, and it's not that expensive, especially when you're just buying it as greenery. When you buy it as a big bundle, like you just saw at the beginning of the screen, then they're like, oh, it's Christmas, we can charge way more. But just grab some greenery, that's all you need. So I'm just going to start taking the like greenery, and again, you can see I have a big mix of greenery. And I'm just going to kind of put it all the way around and then a little bit going upwards. Then I'm going to take the next type of greenery and I'm just going to start placing that around as well. And I'm just going to keep going with all of the different greeneries. Okay, once I get these in and get it nice and full, and then I will add some pine cones. That's it. That's this DIY. It was so simple. Again, I think this probably cost me maybe a couple dollars. I'm going to say maybe $2 in the stems because it was in the grab bag, $1 for the floral, and then again, it was a palette sign that I hated and I was just keeping around to make over someday. So it didn't really cost me a whole lot. But I would say if you could find some greenery and some items, you could probably make this for around $10 to $15, which is much better than the $120 retail price it had and even the $50 sale price tag that it was coming with. And this thing looks spectacular in the middle of my table, and what I love about it is it's just kind of wintry. There's no colors, anything. So it doesn't necessarily have to be Christmassy, but it'll work for this time of year. Okay, so now you see that it's nice and full. And again, so I have these stems that already had pine cones on them. And I know Dollar Tree has these. So keep an eye out. They do have the pine cones on the stem. But if for some reason you can't find those, you could just hot glue your pine cones down. That's it. Now, I wanted to keep it like this and show you because this is the store dupe of me making it as much like the store as I could. But I decided that I thought if I used 3 of these little glass tall tea light holders from Dollar Tree and added them down into the middle, that I could also make it you know, a lighted centerpiece.
I can see them now. It's like they spell your name. It's insane. Now we're back here once again.
If you're new here, welcome. My name is Lisa and I love all things DIY. I hope that you're enjoying these videos, and if you do, it would be amazing if you liked and subscribed and even shared. Yeah, that's my dogs playing in the background. Also, I want to let you know I'm over on Instagram where I share all the projects from here, as well as hauls, how I decorate, other budget-friendly items. So find me over there. It's $__mom, and tell my dogs to stop playing.
I saw this piece on the Michaels website and I cannot believe how much it was. And I'm going to be able to recreate it. So I'm going to take this triangle piece and this two wood pieces, all from Dollar Tree. And I'm going to cover them in steel paint from Waverly. Then I'm going to take this 3D kit here, also from Dollar Tree, and these are really neat. This is new to Dollar Tree this year, and I'm loving them. If you saw my nativity video, I used one of these. So this is how they work. You kind of stick them up in the slats. I'm going to go ahead and push all those items aside, and I'm just going to use the trees here, and I will paint them with white chalk paint, as you see here. Okay, so now for my little deer characters. I want to make this look like wood. So I cut these out on my Cricut, and I cut 4 of them. So you can cut as many as you want. And I glued them all on top of each other. So there you can see that's 4 layers right there. And that's all I thought was necessary, but you could make it thicker if you wanted. And then I'm using my Barely Art Precision Glue. I showed you here how it's down. I just put a little glue all the way around, and then I glued each layer on top of each other. And I think this does look a lot like the little wood, like you would get kind of like those trees from Dollar Tree. Again, I found those images in Cricut Design Space. Okay, so now my 3 pieces are covered in the steel gray chalk paint. And now I'm going to start by putting the trees in. So I want these to go all the way flat against my triangle. So I'm going to go ahead and hold it up here, and I'm going to mark with a pencil where I need to cut. Okay, so because I'm going to want this to be flush to the back. So once I mark the spots, I'm just going to take my X-Acto knife and run it across a couple times, and then that should, it did, make it fit perfectly inside that triangle.
But now I got my eye set on you. I'm not gonna play it safe. It's going down on Christmas Day. 'Cause I've been trying to tell you in every way. Yeah, I've been trying to show you, but somehow felt I wanna have someone to hold. Walking through the falling snow. I've been trying to tell you in every way, but now I'll get it done. I'm not gonna wait. And right around the mistletoe, I'm gonna let my feelings show. Always got you on my mind, but I know this time you're on top of my list. Only wish. And as we
Okay, now that I have that pushed back to the background, I'm going to put the deer in the foreground by gluing it there to the top of the triangle. And I didn't even need adhesive on those trees because it is in there tight. So I will go ahead and just glue the deer onto the front. And then I'm going to glue my triangle there on top of this cube, and then the cube onto our bottom layer, and then this project's done. It's a very unique project, project. It's a very unique project. And I'm glad I came across it on Michael's website because I really enjoy it. It's just something really different and it was really easy to make. It just took a couple things of paint and a couple things on my Cricut and voila, a much cheaper version. So this cost me $4 in supplies and then a little bit of cardstock there for my deer. So a much more affordable option.
I'll be making plans, make you understand. I'm not gonna play it safe. I'm not gonna play it safe. It's going down on Christmas Day. 'Cause I'm trying.
So LTD Commodities is a company I absolutely love ordering from. I've been ordering from them for like 20 years. So I get the catalog and I had pulled that out for some inspiration. I'm going to make a much smaller version. I do want to make a big version, but for now I just made this smaller version. So I took 3 of the square planks from Dollar Tree. I believe they come in a pack of 5 or 6. And then I took 2 of these, the rectangle ones that also come in like a pack of 5 or 6. So this one I'm just going to cut it in half. It is going to be a little bit skinnier than the piece that you see at the top left. That one just already happened to be cut out from another project, so I'm just using it as is. It's a little long, so again, I'm just going to cut it down a little bit. So you saw me use my X-Acto knife. I had to do that more on the longer ones, but when it's a shorter piece like this, I just used my miter shears, which are a lot easier to use, a lot quicker. I'm not a very strong person, so if I can get it to cut down, I think you can too. Okay, so I went into my scrapbook stash and I tried to match the paper as best as I could. So that bottom one there looks type wood, and it looked like it had wood snowflakes, and so that first one there, I cut out the snowflakes on my Cricut, and I just add them down to that white paper, add the black paper down to the strips, and as you can see, that's what it looks like. And then I just made a little twine bow that I will add to the package. Okay, for the next present, again, just 2 pieces of paper that I thought looked a lot like that, and then I cut Christmas out in this font on my Cricut. Now for the third present, again, 2 more pieces of scrapbook paper and Mary in this font. Okay, so for the top bow, I copied the one as best as I could by doing 2 loops, so one smaller than the other, and then onto a tail. Then I'll just tie those all together with some of this jute. And then for the back, a little jute hanger. And as you can see, this is how the project came together. It was super simple. I just glued the packages together with my hot glue gun, and that is it. So of course this is a smaller version, but this cost around $3 to make. I hope you enjoyed these DIYs today as much as I did making them. Again, don't forget to check my description box below and click on the links and check out Wendy and Linda's channel. Until next time, happy crafting!